Hello. Okay, this is going to be my little video on my Turf 2 carry-all club car, Ingersoll Rand. I had a big issue I've been driving it all winter. It's got a nice choke on it over there. This is the gas engine, not the battery. But it kept dying on me. I'd be driving along for a few minutes and just across the property, and it would just die out, and I'd have to pull the choke, and it would putter back, and it was really a pain in the ass. So I finally got it in the shop today. It's March 6th, I think, and it's pretty warm out for Wisconsin. Everything's melting off, but I got the shop wide open, and the heat is not on. So I started checking the fuel system, and made sure the fuel was on, and the fuel filter was pretty empty. You can see a little fuel in there, but the way this works, I figured, is it's an impulse pump. It takes air pressure off the crankcase here, and puffs air, I believe, into a diaphragm here. It pulls fuel from the tank and then loops it down to the old carburetor down there. And if I start talking funny, that's because I watch a lot of Vice Grip Garage. And Derek, he'd be my best friend if he weren't so darn busy fixing up those old jalopies he's got there, So anyway, I got fuel. I took the fuel line off here and ran the motor. And it starts just by pushing the gas pedal. And I was getting fuel pumping out of her. So just to make sure, I pulled the fuel line off here. I got to put the clamp back on. And I blew back down here, and I had bubbling sounds coming out of the gas. And so that should have been okay, but just out of sheer shits and giggles, I pull this valve assembly body, comes out, and it's just got a pressure fitted into this rubber gasket grommet assembly there. So I got that out, and the hose was attached to it, and looked down inside the fuel tank, and it was very clean in there. No fuel filter down in there, just this one here. So I ran it again, made sure I had fuel pumping here on the carburetor. Let's see if I can't get down here yeah. And then there's a little petcock here. You can open this screw, and it lets the fuel out of the bowl. So I made sure I didn't have any water in the bowl there, and drained it out, bowl out completely, and then ran it again until fuel started dripping, and closed that off. Let the bowl fill back up. But I still had that issue where it just ran like shit after about a minute or so. And I'm thinking, well, maybe the float in the bowl is stuck in the up position. And so it's only letting in a little bit of fuel at a time, and then it runs out. The bowl goes dry. And then if I stop, the bowl will fill up, and then I can go again. Well, I was just about to pull the bowl off of that, and I thinking, well, who knows? Maybe I'll check the plug and see if that's fouled. But then, gosh darn it, I decided, well, I'm just going to go and change the oil. No real reason, I just changed the oil on it to make sure everything's cool there. And God damn it, I pulled the dip switch out here. I'll be dipped. And I don't know if you can read this. On the dip switch here, that's going to be hard to read. Here it is. It says, add to full 0.6 or 0.6 pints or 0.0 liters, which is odd as hell. So I went on the interwebs and found a manual for it. God, that was easy. And it said it takes a full quart of oil, plus a little bit more if you replace a filter. And sure enough, I put in, 300 milliliters of oil, 0.3 liters, and got nothing on the dip switch, dipstick. And needed to add that full quart in there, so I don't know what the heck's going on with this. You can ignore this this dipstick vocabulary. So anyway, when I pulled this out, darn, if it wasn't covered all the way up to here with milky shit. And forgive my language. Derek doesn't have to swear, but when I'm down here in the shop by myself, I take advantage of the curse words. So I'm thinking, oh my God, what the hell? I got down underneath her and drained the oil out. I go down here. There's two oil drains, one in the front of the crankcase and one in the back. For me, this one here was the easiest to get at, 14 millimeter. And darn it, if the milky brown water didn't come pouring out of the crankcase. And so I got it drained, got the fuel filter off, had to use my ginormous channel locks to get down on that thing. There was no way I was going to get out by hand. It's too slippery and you can't get a oil filter wrench on it. But the ginormous channel locks did the trick. That was full of milk. So I cleaned that with some oil dry, some gas dry, fuel dry, alcohol basically. I cleaned that out pretty good because I didn't have another one. And then I filled it up with oil after I put the plug back in, of course, on the bottom there. I filled it up with oil, and then I turned it over till it pumped out, because this is a pressurized oil system. And got that milky stuff to pump out of the, with this off, I got the milk all out of the crank oil system there. Put the filter back on, add a little bit more oil, and ran it for a while. And you can hear, we'll do this here now. I got to make sure my switch is in operate here. Now you just press on the pedal. Starts real good. I better let it shut off for you. Yeah, it starts real good, and so then I drained the oil again. I ran it for a little while up here. I got it up on jacks, up off the ground, so I could just let her spin. And so I just let it run for a little while and get the oil all mixed up in with that, what was left over in the crank and whatnot, and then drained it out again. But here's my big surprise. I took that first load of junk I emptied out of the crankcase and took my oil pan outside to the burn pit, and I had 3.5 quarts of that shit in my crankcase. And you can imagine why it wouldn't run very well with all that stuff trying to get up past the rings and into the cylinder. And I'm surely going to put a new plug in it. I mean, it does run okay, but I'm sure that plug took a beating, probably nearly fouled out. So anyway, now it's running, and I'm about to take it down off the jacks. I'm pretty pleased with myself, If I weren't over 60 years old with arthritis, I'd probably try patting myself on the back here. But anyway, there's a little surveillance camera. I buy them from China for about $25, and they work okay once you get past getting them hooked up to your network. And you can put a little bitty, memory card in them so you can keep track of who's out on your property. But that's, You can talk back and forth on them damn things, and they got a high definition. This is a hand mesh gesture that Derek uses on the Vice Grip Garage. I'm into that now. I don't know. Okay, Derek, I'm sorry. I stole that. It's mine now. You're not getting it back. You can keep using it if you want to, but I don't know. Anyway, we're going on to 10 minutes of me jabbering and jabbering. So I'm going to put the dipstick back in, the one with the erroneous nomenclature, and then wipe her down a little bit and go take a ride around the property. I don't know if you can hear this. We get just about sunset. I'm going out to the back here. This is my neighbor's 40. I only got 1 acre. If you can hear them back there, but the sandhill cranes are already back in southern Wisconsin, central southern Wisconsin. And it's only the first week of March. So I'm thinking we're probably going to get an early spring, because I've never heard them this early, usually around Easter. It's a whole month. No such thing as global warming, thank God. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. This is Marty, and I'll be seeing you.